Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the karmas of countries. Now, you know Sri Aurobindo, your great philosopher and yogi and revolutionary, one of the greatest poets ever on this planet, said that nations, countries have a soul like human beings. You know, human being has a soul. It's a spark of the divine that reincarnates from life to life. This is the knowledge of the Hindus, that, you know, in yourself there is a divine spark and the body dies. This is what the Bhagavad Gita says. The body dies, but the soul gets reborn and reborn again till it achieves its perfection. And Sri Aurobindo emphasized that your work, your karma yoga, is to be on this earth and to work for the divine. Now, in the same way, nations have a soul. Nations have a psychic being. And that psychic being of a nation, you know, is born out of its history, its traumas, its glories, you know, its particular genius. Now, Sri Aurobindo spoke about the French soul. He said the French have a clarity of intellect. You know, the French have they have a very logical mind, clarity of intellect. The Germans have discipline. The German nation is a very disciplined nation. And Germans, I know, to be very good and hard workers. About India, he said that the genius of India is its spirituality. You know, for millenniums, Indians cultivated that inner self, you know, the knowledge of the consciousness, and it survived. Today, this consciousness, this knowledge has survived in spite of so many invasions, so many traumas, so many attacks on India. Now, speaking of the psychic of nation, the soul of nation, I'd like to take two nations, China and India. The Dalai Lama, I'm very fond of the Dalai Lama. He's a wonderful being. He's a guest in India, but he's a yogi also, someone who has cultivated all his life, worked on himself, you know, read the scriptures, worked on compassion, worked on love, and he's really an extraordinary being. I've interviewed him maybe 10 times. I've written a book about him also, and my wife and I are really very, very fond of this man. Now, he speaks about the black karma of Tibet and China. He says his own country, Tibet, you know, which has also a particular genius, also very spiritual genius, but in Buddhism rather. The black karma of Tibet is that it stayed feudal for too long. There was a feudal society until this particular Dalai Lama. Tibet did not care to, you know, transform this feudal society into a more democratic, you know, more human society. So he speaks about the black karma of Tibet, and he says, today we, the Tibetans, are suffering because of this black karma. Once we have burned this black karma, we will come back to beauty and glory, like human beings. You know, whatever act we do in this life or in past life has a consequence in this life or in next life. So it's the same for nations. Now, he also speaks about the black karma of Chinese. And he says the Chinese have a black karma because not only they killed 1 million Tibetans, you know, the Chinese just annihilated the Tibetan culture and, you know, the scriptures, the monasteries, and killed directly or indirectly 1 million Tibetans. Out of 6 million Tibetans, they managed to kill 1 million Tibetans. It's a Holocaust, you know, unheard of, except that of the Hindus. And today, everybody is doing business with the Chinese, which is very, very sad and unfortunate. Anyway, he speaks about the black karma of the Chinese because not only they killed the Tibetans, but Mao Zedong, you know, in all his crazy moves, the Cultural Revolution, the Steel Revolution, killed about 6 million Chinese, you know, Chinese themselves. So, China had the black karma, he says. Up to now, we've not seen this black karma manifest itself. China is doing so well, even compared to India. China is doing well in all fields, in sports, in economics, in politics. They manage to control, you know, there's a very autocratic government at the center, and so far it has managed to keep everything under control. Now, the black karma of China may be coming now through Hong Kong. Of all the places, most unexpected is Hong Kong, because Hong Kong, as you know, there was a deal with the British who gave back Hong Kong to the Chinese in 1906, I think. And the deal was that Hong Kong will retain its autonomy while being part of China. Now, the people of Hong Kong are getting worried because China is slowly encroaching upon all their freedoms and liberties. And there is a massive revolution going on in Hong Kong. So this might be the black karma of China because it might spread elsewhere. As you know, there are ethnic cleansing of the Muslims in China. There are minorities who also have been suppressed. There is Tibet, of course, which every time China was in turmoil, got back its independence from the Chinese. So the black karma of Chinese might be coming now. Now, India has a very good karma because India, whatever its faults, and Indians and Hindus have their own faults, never attacked military any countries. The knowledge of India went peacefully westwards toward Greece and later towards Europe. You can see the Celts had a Vedic influence, and eastwards towards China and Japan, and Malaysia and Bali, and you can see that Hinduism took root there peacefully, not like Christianity and Islam, which used their armies to impose their religion and their culture and democracy, whatever, but they imposed it on the whole of South America. One of the greatest Holocausts is in South America by the Spanish and the Portuguese, on the Incas or the Aztecs. And elsewhere, like in India, the British imposed upon India, their culture and their education and their systems. But India never did so. Not only they never invaded military any countries, but also they never tried to impose their religion either by force, like Islam and Christianity, or peacefully, like Buddhism, by conversions. I will continue the second part in a later video. Namaste.